Hey everyone, it's Will, Gamer Dad, with another video for you. So in today's video, we're actually going to be showing the farming results that I've had over the last month or so, and I do hope that you've had a lot of great luck in farming the necessary materials, upgrade materials needed to get your 4.5 and normal 5 stars to the AS/ES, alter versions in your game. Now, if you haven't already, make sure you like and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. I also do have a Patreon account for those who want to support me this way. So, of course, as usual, just to fill you in on what I've been doing over the last month, other than, of course, completing side content such as the zombie AS fights and so on and so forth. Obviously, I've been running the time-twisted maze, although I did take a break in the last week or so. Just really wasn't feeling the motivation to kind of keep on grinding those OOP arts weapons. I know that they have high-level stats and they have a lot of different abilities in order to make your end-game fights a little bit easier. However, same as usual, do them when you can. If you feel a little bit burnt out with that, like I do, just take a break and you can come back right into it when you have a chance. Now, in terms of what I am farming, as you can clearly see, I was playing around with Beast King Castle first. Then in the later stages of the month, I have been going to Riftbreaker very hard with my red keys, playing around a little bit with the Total Theater World, of course, since the update did come out within the last little while. And then finally, moving back to Iscariot. And so I'll just quickly spend some time telling you why I've been doing though. Obviously, with the Beast King Castle, I was farming the Valkyrie tome for Orlea in order to get her VC Grasta. I'm not going to try to go straight up full-on true VC Grasta, just mainly normal version, just to give the extra +5/+5 stats, and also increase the effectiveness of the VC Grasta of the VC in, so that it lasts 2 turns instead of 1. So for your most used and much needed units, I do find that it is, regardless of how marginal those benefits are, I do recommend going for those tomes if possible. After that, going to Riftbreaker, the tome we are looking for was the Draco Mirage, which is for Eva, and so I do have Eva's normal VC Grasta as well. Forgot to mention that, of course, Beast King Castle also has Flam's, Flamelopus's VC Grasta books in there. And finally, playing around with Total Theater World, of course, you do get slightly increased chance of getting light or shadow for those story characters. I was grinding a zombie using my red keys there, and that way I had the 120 light that I showcased when I did have the Azami AS. And finally, I've moved on to Iscariot. Now, you might be wondering, in this case, Will, should I be doing, Total Theater World? I mean, it is a higher chance of getting light or shadow, and you can get, in rare instances, up to 2 or 3 at one go. And my answer to you is, if your goal is only to get light or shadow, it is by far the best way of, increasing your light or shadow on your story units. Keep in mind that if you do duplicate them with your green keys, you can double target actually units such as Serene, Garyu, and Altina, and of course Azami normal style or her AS form, since you can use both red and green keys to concentrate on light and shadow. However, for myself, there is also a second thing. Like I said earlier, you can get your VC Grastas upgraded, and remember that Total Theater World has no tomes to speak of. So for those who are upgrading those VC Grasta, remember that you need special crystals, special fragments, and those do take 4 and 5 star tomes, either to make a VC Grasta and then shred it afterwards, or just the 4 star tomes where you get 2 special fragments each and every time. And so the Total Theater World will not help you craft any more VC Grasta. So something to keep in mind, depending on how far you're in the game. For myself in the end game, I do have quite a bit of light and shadow on a lot of my story characters, and so I decided to prioritize getting the VC Grasta of the units I use the most, and then moving backwards. If I really need to grind out some light or shadow in the future, I can always target Total Theater World later on. Of course, there are also specialized, increase stats by 50 while decreasing other stats by half. Those are things you can use for specialized strats as well. If you really need a few, of course, do spend some time grinding there. But like I said, Total Theater World, just like all the other dungeons, will be around for a very long time. Just, do what you need to do and kind of move around if you're feeling like your luck is a little bit off. also another question that keeps on coming up, and I know most of you who have been playing the game for some while and watching me do know this answer. However, everyone always says, which is the best dungeon to focus your red keys on? And as you can clearly see over the last month, it really depends on what you're looking for. So I prioritize VC Grastus first at this point over Light and Shadow. However, in the early and mid game, if you are relatively new to game, I definitely recommend grinding out story characters as high as you can. Although Clark, there are other choices out there as well. And the reason for that is, remember that you really need to unlock those 120 Light or Shadow bonuses for reward lines in dungeons, as well as, of course, eventually 360 Light and Shadow reward lines in those Garrulina dungeons. Now, moving on to the second part of my rambling thoughts of Gamer Dad, I wanted to talk about how the content has really slowed down. We had almost a 2-week break between the last update and the more recent update, and this is already a week in and we haven't seen anything new, although I believe there is something new coming out this week. I am expecting, especially if you are following the upcoming content via Japan, we should be getting a new unit. Yifa AS should be the new banner, as well as some true manifests for both Leclerc and Garyu. And I do apologize for the spoilers, but hopefully you do follow along either on the subreddit or on the Another Eden wiki. They do have some upcoming content information there. And anyways, so yeah, we are a little bit slow in terms of upcoming content. A lot of people will say, Will, aren't you bored with the game? You have nothing to do. I would actually counter with this. First of all, of course, we only have red and green keys to burn, so my daily commitment of time to this game is extremely low at this point. I can do all my red and green keys probably within 10 or 15 minutes, watch all my ads while I'm watching TV or doing something else with the computer, and the whole day is done within 15 or 20 minutes, which is actually very, very respectful of my time. I've always said this, but Another Eden is one of the games that really respects your time. If you have a lot of time, you can definitely grind out overworld stuff. If you have very little time, just run the really short dungeons, put some 3 minus encounter badges, and run through all to the end, stopping along the way only to get some rare chests for chants or whatever. And so, yeah, very, very helpful in that you can do a lot or a little in the game. Now, the other thing why I'm very, very happy actually that there has been a slowing down in content is that as a free-to-play, remember that our fixed income is very low. Like, you get, 20 a day, 20 for another ad, 10 for additional ad, and if you watch 5 more ads after that, somewhere in the additional 10 or 20 stones on average. So you're talking daily income is probably in the 60 or 70 stone range. And of course, right now we do have an increased login of 50 for, a week and a half, but really everyone's pretty broke at this point, especially if you're summoning for the likes of Jet Tactician Perfection, or for example some of the earlier units like Altars. Tight budget for many of you, especially if you're newer to the game and you don't have a lot of roster units. Now for myself, of course, in day one global players, where I've been from the start and I have the vast majority of a lot of the normal style characters, some of these banners aren't nearly as painful. For example, I do have a normal style Xion. Kind of sucks that I have to wait 3 to 6 months to try to grind out those opuses, but you already saw it earlier in the video. I'm lucky enough to get a sensationalist, so I have 1 opus already, probably going to get another 2 somewhere in the 3 to 6 month range. I mean, I won't be able to use all the unit right away, but at least I don't have to worry about not having the unit, right? And so if and even with Yifa AS coming out a little bit later, I have normal style Yifa, same thing. Might take me 3 to 6 months to grind it out, but I don't have to spend any stones towards upgrading that unit. I mean, for the ones of you who have already watched my video on the reality of a free-to-play, you already know this is a style and strategy by which you can stretch out your purchasing power of your Chrono Stones, right? Instead of using your Chrono Stones to side grade units that you already have, at the expense of waiting a few months, you can save those stones to put it towards units you have no version of. For example, again, spoiler alert, Alma should be coming in about 2 weeks or 2 updates from now after Yifa AS. All of us don't have any form of Alma. Apparently, she's supposed to be super broken. And so, many of us who have been following along are putting a lot of stones towards that, myself would be included. And so if you can budget more that way and try to spend less stones on the side grading portion of your unit, that would really save you a lot of pain in the long run. Again, I realize that a lot of my people watching this video may be newer to the game, and that might not apply. Okay, sorry. I'm just going to interject here. Note that this is only my second or third time that I've ever gotten 2 chant scripts in one run. One at the boss chest and one in a rare chest that you just saw a few seconds ago. Pretty rare. Very happy to show it to you that it is possible. If anyone's ever gotten 3 chant scripts in one run, let me know. I have never done that before, and the odds are obviously astronomically low, but in this case, able to show you that it is indeed possible to get 2 chant scripts in one run. Okay, so anyways, I know that, again, if you're newer to the game, you probably don't, have a lot of, upgrade materials like chant scripts and so on and so forth. You probably don't have all the units in the game as well, in which case, obviously, when you summon, you really have to plan out your summoning a lot more. But hopefully, as you pull more and more, you'll have some off-banner pulls that you might not think are valuable at the time. But if they ever drop an AS or an ES or an altar, you're all set. So anyways, the point I was trying to make is that slower updates mean you can hoard up more stones and have more shots at getting the units you want, so which is really good for us in global. Plus, because of the power of foresight, we can really plan those expenditures of stones as well. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.